Welcome to Three Voices Unfiltered, where no topic is off limits and everything gets real. Join us,
Ronisha,
Theresa,
Suzanne, as we dive into hot topics, share our wildest experiences, and bear our honest opinions and thoughts. Buckle up, because with us, it's always raw, always vibrant, and absolutely unfiltered.
hello everybody. Welcome back for another episode of Three Voices Unfiltered. Hi, Theresa.
hi Ronisha,
Hi, Suzanne.
Hey, Ronisha.
Hey, Sus.
Hello, everybody. Today is a fun episode. We're going to talk about wellness and self-care. We're going to share some of our wellness stories and what we do to stay well and what we do to self-care. And also we're going to give you some tips and tricks on how you can also implement those things in your day-to-day lives. So first of all, I want to know from each one of you, what is self-care for you? What does that look like?
Oh my goodness! For me, it's just it's my mental, and I'm gonna say the word just mental. You know, I have to feel, I just have to feel calm and at peace. You know, just with things. I'm pretty by nature. I'm pretty calm and pretty laid back. I don't get crazy excited and things of that nature. But the thing about it though is that I have a tendency to internalize. You know what I mean? So I'm trying my best these days, not, to speak out more, speak out more, or share more.
Or like express yourself
And
more.
express myself
Okay.
more, express myself more, I mean, I can during conversations, once I'm in conversation with people, whatever, but I have a tendency sometimes to hold stuff in and just try to deal with it, so, yeah. And one of the things that I do, and this is funny, I say funny things. This is funny. For relaxation, for me, I'm going to hold off on that because that was not the question. I'll table that for a minute, you guys, and we'll get back to that. But self-care for me is just peace.
Peace.
I just want to feel just serene, just peace, that all is just well, I don't have anything that I'm anxious about, or anything like that. And I try to just incorporate that too. But just everything, what I mean? It could be anything, so I try to do that.
Okay. What about you, Suzanne? What does
I
self-care
think
mean?
peace is a good one or a big one to strive for. I think self-care for me is awareness of what my body needs physically, mentally, and emotionally
That's good.
to be well.
Yes,
That's good.
That's a good,
So
good one.
whatever it takes for those, and spiritual, so those 4 areas, just making sure those 4 areas are balanced and healthy.
That's good.
I will add this, and it doesn't have to be like all at the same time. Does that make any sense? You know what I mean? When you say, I mean, does it really? Because things will happen in our lives. You know what I'm saying? Something will come up, and then we'll get anxious or something like that.
I don't think at the same time, but I think they all feed each other.
Yeah,
Because if my spirit is not well, or if I'm not emotionally well, then I may feel like I want to work out today.
Gotcha.
Or maybe I'm gonna eat this donut and don't care. Like it goes together. But what do you define self-care as?
I think self-care for me is putting myself first every once in a while, because having a child at 18 and having kids and putting them first, and then putting partners first and husbands first and family members first. For me, I'm a natural nurturer, like a natural person where if you need something, I'm going to try to think about what I can do for you, how I can help you. But it's more about, hey, let's put Ronisha in the front. I know you got a lot going on, but I'm going to take care of myself right now.
And that's a big one. And that takes learning how to say no sometimes, right?
Yes.
Like I'm like you, people will call me and I will stretch myself out super thin, trying to take care of everybody else, doing everything that they needed. But here I'm drowning and nobody's seeing it because I didn't know how to say no.
Yeah.
Or saying no was selfish or wrong. And so, yeah, putting yourself, that's...
And I do it more now since the kids are adults. But I still see myself doing so much for other people and not myself as much. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. That's why I booked my trip. That's going to be my self-care weekend. Going to Minneapolis, having a great time. That's going to be my self-care. I'm just going to hang out, do what I want to do, because I always do what everybody else wants to do, because I don't mind.
I don't mind.
It's a natural thing. I just don't mind doing what other people like to do. But this is going to be, I'm going to do this because I want to do this.
That's right.
That's self-care for me.
Yeah.
That's good. I've been like that for quite a few years, because I don't have, my son's in his 40s, so, and I don't have any grandchildren, and I'm not married, so I pretty much, in that particular area, I'm pretty much like, okay, because, and now that I'm retired, I mean, I know how to say no. I know how to say no. But on the flip side, yes, I learned.
She means it when she says it.
I know she knows.
I know, and she knows me, okay, because if I don't, because you get to a point in your life where you just have to just know who you are and just know who you are and what you want in the whole 9 yards. And my thing is that there's certain things, if I'm asked to do, if I want to do it, I'm like, oh yeah, because there's going to be times in my life where it's going to be times where I don't want to do it, but I do it. You know what I mean? I do it because I'm a helper. I'm a helper. And it's been like that for years and years. It's almost like I can't join any organization, without being part of leadership. You know what I mean? Being involved. Well, now that I'm older, I have learned that I don't have to be in. It's kind of a control thing as well. I don't have to be in control. It doesn't, and I've learned years ago too, it doesn't always have to be my way. You know what I mean? Because that will help you too, because yes, I have a lot of ideas. I mean, I have a lot of energy when it comes to certain things. I have a lot of experience when it comes to a lot of things, okay? But give somebody else an opportunity to express themselves. It could, because it could be different. I'm glad that I'm flexible. It could be different than them, than their choice.
I like that.
And that just helps so much when you just come to realization it doesn't have to be your way, and you don't always have to be right, and you can say the word no. And people are still going to love you. They will, and those that don't love you because you say no,
that's on them.
That has nothing to do with you. That has nothing to do with you. And also another thing too is it's not about being selfish. Okay, it's not about being selfish. Okay, it's just about protecting your peace. And
yeah, that's good. You made me think about when I was practicing for the choir, our anniversary choir. My son called, "Can you watch Trey J?" No. I have something to do. Can you do this? Can you pick them up tonight? No, because I'm going to be doing something. It's just like saying, like you said, learning how to say no. And just, I'm putting myself this weekend as a priority. Whatever that is. I want to sing in the choir. That's a priority to me. That was self-care for me because I was doing what I wanted to do in that moment.
And I appreciate when people contact me and they, I mean, that's just the love, they trust you and, and all like that.
Yeah.
I appreciate all of that, right? But at the expense of what, so, yeah.
So that's good. So let's go to our next question. Ladies, I want you to share your favorite self-care practices. Theresa? What are your self-care practices?
Do I have any?
You have some. Thrifting.
Okay, now I was going to talk. Okay. See, you know what? Now that was the first thing I was thinking, right?
Because it's therapy.
But for me, it is shopping. I shop a lot, but I want to tell you guys something. I'm gonna tell you something.
But she stays within her budget.
I'm in my budget. I buy everything on sale. Okay, because I believe in getting the best quality for the least amount of money. All right.
See, that's why I said thrifting.
You know,
Mhm.
but I shop, but I don't just shop for myself. I shop for other people, you
Right.
know, because if I'm hearing you saying you thinking about something or whatever the case may be, and I'm in the store or wherever I'm at and I see it, I'm gonna get it.
Yeah,
You
that's
know what I
nice.
mean?
I'm
gonna
gonna talk
get it.
about it.
I'll do that
that
too.
car, that new Lexus. Maybe she'll get it.
So
Black
yeah,
with
with
red
something
interior.
because.
and-
But that gives me that is
It's a type of therapy.
it's a
Sometimes
type of
I feel
therapy,
shopping
you know,
makes you feel
because
better.
I feel like I'm helping people.
That's
You know what I
good.
mean? I feel like I'm helping people when I sit up here and I hear that, you know, or I know that they need this or whatever. And I don't care what it is. It could be anything. It could be clothes. It could be food. It could be whatever. You know, and I would go ahead and I would just like get it, you know, for them. But I shop for myself, and I've been doing that for a few years. But she's right, you know, shopping is good for me. And one of the things that I was doing, you know, right after the pandemic, was I would go shopping, and I would buy things, and I would sell it on Facebook Marketplace or eBay or like that. You can make some money. You know, I
Nice.
haven't done it in about almost a year, but I still got things out there that periodically people, you know, would buy. And we just had a podcast about talking about money matters, okay, and just different sources of income and, you know, and streams of income. And that's one way, you know, that I did it to pass time. I didn't do it to make money. I did it just to pass, you know, to pass the time away. So I love that as well. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, that's good. What about you, Suzanne? What are your self-care
Well, my
practices?
favorite self-care practice is facials. So when I worked at the college, one of my friends was working there as well, and she talked about, have you tried the facials with the aesthetics department? And I said, no, I haven't. She said, they're $5
Wow.
for staff. And she said, I go every week and get a facial. So I started going every Thursday at 11. I would say goodbye to my boss because most lunches I stayed at in the office. Every Thursday at 11, do not book a meeting. Do not make any plans for me. I'm out at 11 to get my facial. So I would walk off to the aesthetics department. And the funny thing is that at the beginning when I was getting my facials, the first few were a struggle for me. I felt weird about getting a facial. I felt this is an overindulgence. I don't need this.
Yeah.
And I felt very undeserving of the time. I know. So I would lay there and I would pray and say, Lord, oh, this feels so good. But I feel like I didn't deserve it.
Yeah. Wow.
So eventually I started just talking to myself and saying, look, first of all, it's $5. So I'm not breaking the budget. Secondly, they need the practice. So I'm really doing it. Like if you have to cancel your appointment, the students will be really bummed out because they need to accumulate a certain amount of hours. And I said, secondly, I'm helping the students. Then thirdly, I'm like, why not? It's good for my skin. It helps me relax. So I struggled though. Like I didn't feel that I was deserving of that 1 hour of just disconnecting, being rubbed and cleansed and everything that goes with the facial. So to this day, I don't go once a week because I don't work for a college anymore and it's not $5. But I will go get a facial at the local college, which is probably a well-kept secret. Use your local colleges. They have pedicures, manicures, facials.
That's a good
and
point.
I think I paid $20 now, which is nothing for a facial, full European 1 hour facial.
Wow.
So I go at least twice a week and I get a facial. That's one. I have other ways of
twice a week?
I mean, twice a month. Sorry. I'll go twice a month to get my facial, and they do everything, microderma.
That is so
That's nice.
Peels, everything. But that's my favorite way of self-care. I have other ones that I'll share as we continue, but that's my favorite.
My favorite self-care is dancing. I like to go dance. I like to listen to the music, and then when I'm dancing, I don't think about anything but me moving to the music. I don't think about anything else. I'm twirling, I'm spinning, I'm laughing.
That sounds fun.
I have a great time dancing. So I try to dance at least once a month, go somewhere, dance for a night, And that's what I use for self-care. I would like to do more things like that, Suzanne.
I love
Facials.
facials.
I had a massage. My kids bought me a massage for Mother's Day, which was really nice. I'm like, I felt that way too. I'm like, wow, this is very, I feel weird.
Like self-indulgent,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
I feel guilty.
I felt so good though when I got up and I left, but
why do we feel guilty? Like, why should we feel guilty about taking an hour to feel good?
I felt interesting because this lady was working hard on me. I'm like, oh my God, I feel so bad because she's just like, I'm like, is she tired? Is she gonna keep going? This is a long time. I was thinking about her and not enjoying it. I was thinking about, wow, she's working hard.
Oh, so
and
you couldn't relax worried about her?
I relaxed though. But I just thought about, wow, this is a lot of work on someone.
Yeah, I love
gave her a good tip. But
yeah, would you be open to a gentleman doing that? A man doing that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I mean, you know, and let me tell you why I say that, right? Because, you know, because of their strength, you know, and really those knots, or, you know.
I guess I could. I guess it doesn't matter.
It depends if I get my glutes. Like, I used to do massage. I like massages too. I had a masseuse that I went to a few times, and I never did my glutes. And she said, would you like me to do your glutes? And I'm like, eh. And she said, you know that your glutes is the largest muscle that you have, and people often don't want to work their glutes, and you should work your glutes. I said, okay, I'll give it a try. It didn't feel weird at all because it's professional.
Yeah, because they do ask you that when you go in. They ask you, what parts do you not want to touch? And you do a little sheet. Like, don't put your hands on my head, and don't touch
I love my head.
No, I don't.
If they like my feet, but
I'm like, don't touch my booty. Like, don't do that.
But if it's a guy, I probably don't want him touching my booty. I did get a guy to do a facial a couple times, and I felt a little odd. So instead of relaxing, I'm trying to listen to his breathing. Is it getting deeper or faster?
Oh my God!
And I was like, oh Lord, I think
God.
it is. And I'm like, my brain's playing tricks with me, you know, because I'm trying to be like, and this guy was probably thinking about this old lady's skin. You
are not an old lady.
We let our brains just get so crazy. I don't know, or maybe I do.
Well, let's talk about something that applies to wellness, and that's diet and exercise.
Yes.
All right. So for me, you guys, I've had some health challenges earlier this year, and one of the things that I was struggling with was sugar. You know, and then I listened to this gentleman online, you know, and I took a whole bunch of notes just about sugar and what it does to the body. It's horrible. So I'm weaning myself off of sugar. So right now what I try to do is I try to do like the artificial a little bit, but I'm weaning myself off.
Artificial is not bueno either.
Oh, it's absolutely not. Wait a minute,
and
it's absolutely not.
Yeah.
So that's why I said I'm being honest. I'm saying I'm weaning myself, you know, off of it because it's just not good. It's better to even have regular sugar or sugar in the raw than to have the artificial sugar. So I'm not perfect, but
you're working towards it.
And,
you're working
and
towards
monk fruit, you know, monk fruit is
monk
good,
fruit
right?
and
It's
agave are good.
But I'm trying to find a monk fruit that doesn't have that xylitol in it. It's just plain. Anyway, this is stuff I just read, you know. But anyway, so as far as that's concerned, and then I just recently started walking, and let me tell you something about walking. Okay, they say that's like the perfect exercise. I feel so good about being outside, you know, walking, and I'm gonna share something with you because I have an elliptical, you know, and I can do stuff in the house, and I have. You know, you can put any app I got on my TV and put on walking, you know, exercises. But I do it for the vitamin D, and I do it because when I'm out there, I'm talking to the Lord. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I said I want to walk outside. You know, and you know, then when the weather get bad, then of course, you know, I'll have you know that. But what I'm doing is changing the way I eat. I'm low sodium. Trying to stay away from the bad carbs, okay, which I do a good job with that because unless I get into my thing where I said I want some low salt, lightly salted potato chips. Leave me alone, okay? I said that's what I want. So, but I'm trying to change that. And you know what, guys? It is a lifestyle change. It's lifestyle, all right? What I find that I don't like about when you're trying to eat well and exercise is that, you know, it's more expensive
to eat better.
It's inorganic.
Oh my
unfortunate.
goodness. It really is. You know, it really
To
is.
eat organic and
You know, so for me, it's exercise more, okay, for heart health, you know, heart health and joint health. You know, I do a lot of stretching. I have a stretching routine that I've been doing for months now every morning, because as you get older, you know what, I wasn't thinking about getting older 5 years ago. I'm just being honest with you. But now I'm just conscious of it, you know, so yeah. So we're talking about lubricating those joints, you know, so you don't get the arthritis, you know. I have
Motion is lotion. That's what John says.
So it's really
Sounds
moving.
very...
Yeah, I'm telling you, and you'll be surprised. And you'll be surprised because and
the joints, you gotta move
you
your joints.
you got to move your joints, you know what I mean? But anyway, so for me, just to recap, it's watching, you know what I eat. Not eating like late at night, you know, and even if I do eat something late at night, because you know I have a job and you know I don't have to be anywhere in the morning. What I do is that I won't eat anything before 12 o'clock. You know what I mean? You know, so because what that does is that gives the body, your organs, you know, time to just digest everything, you know, process everything that, you know, you've eaten, you know, during the day. One more thing that I'm doing and I'm doing pretty good, is trying to get that 64 ounces of water in. I always get the 32 ounces, always. That's not a problem. I always get 32 ounces of water in, no problem. But it's that second one. And then I try not to drink water, you know, at 10 o'clock at night, because then I'm going to get up, you know, so go to the restroom. So, that for me is kind of like what I'm doing as far as wellness is concerned. I will tell you this, share this really quickly. It's like I remember 4 years ago when I did retire, I ate what I wanted to eat. I didn't hardly exercise, and I was just being out here, just being rogue, you know, just not paying attention, you know. But then when I had the health issues earlier this year, you know, so now I'm back to what I was doing before, you know, making sure you get that exercise and make sure you are watching what you eat, because it's real. And one more thing that I do is I go to my annual doctor appointments. I go to get the mammograms every year. I go to get my annual physical where I get my blood work done every year. Because anything can change from one year to the next.
Absolutely.
You know, you want to get your blood work checked, you want to get your urine checked, you know, you want to get your mammograms, you know, you want to go to the to the dentist, you want to go to the OBGYN if you're a woman. You know, you want to go to the OBGYN because anything, you know, things can happen, especially when you're in your childbearing years. And then as you get older, you know, because your body changes.
That's good points. What about you, Suzanne? What's your diet and exercise routine?
So I've always worked out. Even as a teenager, we would run or go to the gym. I've always been.
I feel like you've always been health conscious.
Kind of like I was better actually before, but I would go through periods where I was really dedicated. I'm going to the gym every day, I'm working out, and then I kind of would slack off, and then I would start all over. So I've always been health conscious, and I've always tried to do some type of activity. However, the last 2 years, I started doing E2M. You can Google it and get some information about that. And with it, I was able to create discipline. I do maintain the meal plan, I do work out, but I didn't have discipline. So with the program, I learned to be disciplined, and it's okay. And once I reached my goals, then I kind of tweaked it to maintenance. So I eat healthy. I try to exercise at least 5 times a week.
Wow,
I try to do things that are peaceful to me, because for my mental health, I like to I need sometimes me time, just by myself, nobody around. I love doing puzzles for mental health. I like to play some games sometimes as well. But those are things that I like to do to just kind of stay active. I think the key is to stay active, eat healthy, and stay engaged. Social engagement is also a big one for mental health.
It is.
So I mean, to me, it kind of goes together because if my mental health is in the right place, then my diet and exercise are in the right place.
That's true. Absolutely. I do some of the things you do, Theresa. The fasting, intermittent fasting till noon. I typically don't eat till afternoon, which means I probably eat 2 meals a day on average. And my exercise, I need help with that. Ooh, I don't exercise. I don't do anything. I need to.
25 minutes in and out.
I have a gym membership. I have videos. I have things to do. I have my bicycle. And I don't exercise. I'm working on that. That's a mental thing for me.
Yes.
I don't know why.
You have to get just in the
But I dance. So
that's exercise.
When I do dance, I dance all night long.
And exercise doesn't
For
have
hours.
to be the gym or walking is great exercise. Dancing is great.
Well, I got this new dance app that I downloaded because I just don't want to do anything.
Maybe that could be do you like Zumba?
I got this app called Everdance.
Oh.
I've been seeing it on Instagram, and in this, people just dancing and making dance routines to music, and they do it for so many minutes. And
dancing is exercise.
that's what I do.
I like yoga. You like yoga?
No, I don't like yoga. I've tried Pilates.
Pilates is fun too.
It was hard. I didn't go back.
I remember for years I used to go to the to trail rides, and I used to do a lot of line dancing.
I do that. I do a lot of line dancing.
That's the like you have to like it because if not you won't do it.
Yeah, I want to do something active, not necessarily exercise per se. So I want to ride my bike. I want to dance. I want to line dance.
I have a Peloton. And I have a love-hate relationship with my Peloton.
I want to get on my bike. I got a nice red bike that I bought
like
during
outside
COVID.
bike? Oh.
Outside bike.
Go ride your bike.
I know I should go ride my bike, but then I'm like, people are crazy.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in the streets.
There's trails where you can go. But yeah,
I have a big, red, beautiful bike.
I have a bike
with the big wheels. What are those things? What are
beach bikes? I think they're...
It's got the little handlebars
like
and
bike.
it's the big old wheels. I need to...
I have a bike. We have bikes. We
Make
talk
sure I
about
can
it,
fit
but
it.
it's like you got to put the bikes in the back of the car, go to a trail, and
that's
walk.
the thing.
It's just
down my house in Dallas, there was a bike trail right down the street. So ride my bike to the trail and spend an hour and a half on that trail. I did that. So.
You know what's so weird though? It's like most people know what to do as far as diet and exercise. You know, regardless of what your choice of that you pick. It's the doing. It's just like Ronisha said, it's the mental. It's the actual doing it. And then being consistent.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Because I have a tendency that what I used to do is I used to be on board and I would be real good, for a period of time. Really good.
Workouts.
And then as soon as, this happened over here, then I'll have a tendency.
Vacations can throw you off.
Vacation always throws me off.
Summer throws me off. Period.
In summer,
the summer, I don't want to do anything but enjoy summer.
And I feel like right now I'm getting back. Like I feel the summer was kind of. I'm back. I've been very disciplined the last 2 weeks, and you feel better.
You do feel
like
better.
When I feel like when I eat junky, I feel junky. My body feels junky, and I feel clear, mentally clear and things like that. So, and it doesn't have to be, like I said, it doesn't have to be at the gym or strength, whatever. Just be active, and then little by little you can be adding things that might work out better for you.
I think the main thing is your nutrition. That piece is important.
You can't, another junk quote. I have a
it's not motion in the ocean or lotion in
no, it's not. It's like he says you can't outrun a bad diet. So I can work out, and if I'm eating junky, it's not gonna do me any good. So you can't outrun a bad diet. So I kind of have this little, Johnisms in the back of my head.
Write down those.
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you something. You can try little things that work. And stop asking people what did they do to lose weight. Okay,
right.
If you're into that's what you want to do, because it has nothing to do with you. Okay, you have to find your own routine. For yourself.
Well, I realized at my age, my body likes to be at a certain weight, and if I want to be less than that, I really have to eat very, very clean. I don't have to work out too hard. I can work out 3 times a week.
Eating is, like you said, eating is
Yeah, you gotta know
Yeah.
yourself and know what
Yeah.
your body wants to do.
Yeah, they talk about the 80-20 rule, you
Yeah.
know, and that's what I'm just focusing on as well, you know, because I don't want to ever have to say I can never have cake again. I'm going to go to a wedding in November.
Absolutely.
I'm having cake.
Oh,
You should eat cake.
I'm having cake, okay?
Yeah.
But you know, but the thing that I know, I said, well, you know, if I go on vacation or if I'm going to visit somebody or whatever the case may be, and I'm outside of my, you know, what I do on a regular basis, you know, I want to be able to go to that restaurant, you know, and have something. If I want to have something a little decadent.
One other question, though,
yeah.
ladies. This is our last question. How does relationships play into our wellness?
Ooh, toxic relationships can
Maybe-
really mess you up.
Even relationships where it's a partner, it's family.
Yes. I think relationships can, if you allow them, they can either discourage you or encourage you. Like your tribe can really lift you up or bring you down. Have you, you know, if you have people, you're too skinny, that's enough, you're done. You know,
Ooh, that's rude.
or eating healthy. And this is like a common topic with the group that I'm with, the exercise and wellness group, that people say that they will have family members knock them down when they're eating healthy, but nobody will ever come to you and say, man, that's your 3rd piece of cake today.
Right.
You know, have you noticed that though, that people are kind of more judgmental of you when you're trying to be healthy than when you're not? So relationships can really...
Yeah, no, many people could be in my family. They're very direct. My children tell me, like, your parents, they're a lot. Like, they'll say whatever comes to their mind. Like, my dad will say, give me a pair of pants, Ronisha, so I can wear them. I know you're about my size.
Oh my goodness.
I'm like, Dad, I'm not as big as you are. But it's a running joke that he's always had with me. So if you're, you know, struggling with people saying things like that to you, that could impact your mental health, your wellness.
It does. It really does.
Yeah.
And people that are, you know, I mentioned toxic relationships. Some people are like, they can't even think for themselves.
Yeah,
You're
that's
thinking
bad.
about what everybody else is thinking, or, oh, you know, I don't want to do that, I don't want to upset them. But that's a whole nother thing. But I think relationships, like having a partner, that an accountability partner to help you, and that might be a thing to go to the gym. If you have an accountability partner and you know that, hey, I told Suzanne that I'm going to meet her at the gym at 10, it will get you to the gym at 10. So sometimes you need an accountability partner to help you achieve your goals. And if you feel free enough to share your goals, then, and they know, hey, don't have that, you said.
In that way, if somebody help you, somebody can throw you off, because being in a toxic relationship, like a partnership with the spouse or somebody, you'll find yourself not being able to go work out, not being able to eat well, or using food as a crutch because you're going through some personal bad things.
And you should be able to identify that, who's going to be your champion. You know what I mean? You know, I have relationships with folks, and it's just different because I know how they are, okay? And if they're that way, then I limit my, you know, my exposure to them.
That's a good point.
I just do, because I know that they may take me to, they may trigger something, you know, I may react a certain way, you know, and whether I get quiet, because when I'm upset, when something's going on, I'm quiet. You know, but then I'm quiet. I can be quiet, you know, at other times as well, and nothing's wrong, you know. But my thing is that you know, people will trigger you, and so that's why you have to know yourself. Be honest with yourself about who you are, okay? Your likes and your dislikes, okay? Not to play the victim all the time, you know, because sometimes it could be you. You know what I mean? And so you do that self-evaluation, you know, once you're honest with yourself, and then that's when you can identify triggers and boundaries. Okay?
And it's like, sometimes people in your life are just negative. Like, I do not like negativity. If you're a negative person, I don't want to be around you. I just can't. I don't like pessimism. I don't like negativity. I mean, I could be negative, but it's not my norm. I'm not always negative, and people that are negative, they'll bring you down. I mean, somebody can. Words are powerful, and sometimes someone can say something to you, and that'll knock me down for the day, and I'm not going to work out, and I'm going to eat whatever I want because it does take effort to eat healthy. You have to cook hot more and
you gotta be
prep
mentally
and things.
involved in what you're doing.
But if you're mentally exhausted or mentally beat down, it doesn't matter. When I'm upset or depressed, I don't eat. If I'm upset, my stomach shuts down. But most people, it seems like, and just from reading, they eat more. So it might be a good idea to find what are the things that upset you, kind of like to foresee, hey, if so-and-so says this, I know it's going to upset me, but I'm not going to respond this way. Don't retrain your brain. And I learned this through one of the therapists one of the E2M therapists. She was like, you need to retrain your brain to not react a certain way every time something happens.
Emotional intelligence.
Yeah. So that's a big one too, I feel.
Yeah, I'm thinking now that I don't react to anything anymore. I don't know if that's a bad thing. I don't have any emotional attachment to anything.
I react
negative, or I like more positive, of course.
Yes. There's things or people that can make me react or could make me react more. Now,
okay, that's a good
I'm like,
point.
okay, whatever. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Whatever.
I just think the older you get, the better you are at expressing or not expressing your emotions.
And sifting things.
Yeah. That's that emotional intelligence where you don't need to go there with this person. I'm good. Boy, bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Because my son tells me all the time, who am I? Okay, because
I can see you, Theresa.
He said, who am I? So it's like, give you an example, every once in a while, I'll have one of my friends' son, he'll come. He's been coming, to see me ever since he was 3 years old, and I treat him like a little person, like I used to treat Kevin when he was younger, I talk to him and whatever, and it's the way I talk to him, because it would be the same way, when I have grandchildren, I talk to him a certain way, and I raise my son a different way. You know what I mean?
Right.
I raise my son a different way, but now I'm more calm because my favorite thing is that it's just not that serious.
Same.
Things are not that deep.
It's not that deep. You know what I mean? But when I was younger, because I was a young mother, I had my son at 20 years old.
Things were
It's
deep.
like
they were deeper.
The anxiousness, the perfection, the control, all of that stuff that I had, and that stuff takes a toll, on how you are, raising your children, but if I had to do it, if I had him at 30, 35 or whatever, it would be, different.
It's just our emotional growth. Like we grow emotionally. My relationship with my husband now is not anything like the relationships I've had in the past. Things would be, I'll be upset and drama, and I'm like, okay, you need space, sure, take it, because I'm learning learn that people need space. I need space. It's okay. It's not unhealthy. It's not unhealthy to do that. So it's just little things that we can do daily to help our well-being and taking care of yourself, because it's the analogy of put the oxygen mask on yourself first. Before you put it on somebody else, because if I'm not in the right spot mentally, physically, or emotionally, I can't take care of anybody. I can't do anything. So my mom lives not with us but next to us, and there were times that I needed to go over there or help her with whatever, and I would just jump and go. I would drop what I was doing and jump and go. And now I said, I'll be there in a minute, or I'll be there, in a couple, because it's not life or death. Nothing. I mean, if it's an emergency, I'm there instantly. But if it's something that, if I'm in the middle of something, just like you were doing your choir, I got you, I'll be there. But it doesn't have to, because then guess what? I will go, I'm flustered, I'm trying to rush through it because I'm trying to go back to what I was doing. So now I put the oxygen mask on myself first, and then I go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's sum up our tips, ladies. Theresa, give me your 2 best self-care tips.
Give you a quick example. I was at my mother's house recently, and she was asking me, do this, this. You know, she was in my ear, and then she asked me one thing, y'all, about a shower curtain, and I was just like, well, you know, and I said what I had to say, and my son checked me. He's like, Ma, you know, because my son was with me. He's like, Ma, you know, and I immediately had to stop real quickly, ask for forgiveness, you know, and that's another thing. That's another tip. Just forgiving myself, you know what I mean?
That's
forgiving other people, forgiving other people,
Absolutely.
but forgiving myself, because I immediately, okay, because I heard myself. You ever hear this? I heard myself, and I had to apologize. And my mother got real quiet.
Oh.
I hurt her feelings.
Oh.
But anyway, I did. But I'm being honest, you know.
right.
But I checked myself. I checked myself. You know what I'm saying? So a good, you know. So 2 things: checking myself, all right, and forgiving. Either forgiving myself, because I can be hard on myself sometimes, and then forgiving other people because they're people.
That's a good one.
Okay,
I
so
think
those
that's
are
a
2
good
that
one.
I have.
How about you?
Do whatever you have to do to bring yourself to a place where you're balanced in all 4 areas: mentally, spiritually, physically,
Emotionally.
and emotionally. Because if you're okay there, then you're going to be better for yourself and for others. And my other self-care would be take time for yourself. Whatever makes you happy. It can be just an hour. Go for a walk, or get a facial, or go dancing. Dance, everyone. Like, dancing is amazing. I love to now.
Oh, I've been in the house
Cruises, I'm dancing until I can't even move anymore. But yeah, so just do whatever makes you happy. It's okay. It's not selfish. Don't think you're being selfish.
Yeah, those are good tips.
Yeah.
You both took my answers.
Oh. See, we're on the same page.
I would say forgiveness. Forgive yourself. Give yourself some grace. And also, you said, I say a me day. Take a me day.
Take a me day. Yeah.
Just on the calendar, this day is just going to be for me. I'm going to go take myself to the movies. I'm going to go have lunch by myself, or whatever you want to do.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's
Sometimes what I'll do is I'll call it a mental health day. I come to my craft room and I just craft all day. It's my mental health day by myself.
I love going to the movies by myself. I would go and just sit, because nobody wants to see Marvel movies but me and my family.
Oh, we love them.
Really? So I would go and take myself and see a Marvel movie and be so happy.
And that's all it takes. It doesn't take a lot. Just a little something to make yourself happy.
When for years, well, going back years, I used to not. I still practice this to this day, even though I'm retired, because I'm still busy. You know, I'm doing a lot of stuff. I always say, you could be busy because life is happening, right? But what I will always look forward to is that day, and then I would say that day, okay, on Tuesday, I am not doing anything. Okay,
That's a me day.
Now, even if I get up and I throw a load of clothes in the washing machine, you know, or you know, I see something over there and I'm sweeping the floor or something like that, that's okay. But I'm talking about purposely nothing planned. Okay, I guess that's the best way to say it, right? Nothing planned. You know, and I've been doing that for years.
That's what I did for Labor Day. I did nothing. I was happy.
Absolutely nothing. And what's happening? Right?
I stayed in my pajamas all day.
Oh, that's a good day.
With a bonnet on my head.
That's a good day.
Oh, well, thank you, ladies, for your wisdom. This was a great episode. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. We are the Three Voices Unfiltered. We're happy that you're here. Please let us know if you have questions or comments, and we'll get back with you.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Do a hashtag for this one. Do hashtag 3VU Wellness and tell us what you do for your self-care.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Do us a big favor and hit that like button, share this episode, and subscribe.